Welcome into Sports Talk with Theo Dorsey. South Georgia, let's talk sports. Now, there's a difference between just being somewhere and having a presence. And for the past 15 years, Charles Truitt's presence has been palpable on the sidelines at Hugh Mills Stadium. The Monroe High School head coach is tonight's guest on Sports Talk with Theo. Truitt's final game as a high school football athlete was a state title loss out in Alabama in '84. Since then, he's won a couple titles as a coordinator in Americas and won plenty of games as a head coach in Albany. Though Truitt isn't from Albany, he's elevated into a spot where you can't even mention Monroe High School without his name coming up. And we thank the coach for coming up the road to WALB Studios to Sports Talk tonight to join us. Now a two-time Sports Talk vet. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I always love coming.
Oh, it's a ball. I remember last time I beat you down in trivia. Maybe this time you'll put up a better fight.
Yeah, I'm hoping to come to be able to be a winner this time when I leave.
We'll see about that. Not if I have anything to do with it. Now, of course, people already know your story because of last Sports Talk, but I do want to do a brief overlook of your coaching resume, as we always do. Won't go through everything, but want to give people that aren't familiar a look at what you got going on. So from 91 to 97, you were the America's High defensive back coach. Then in 97, you were promoted up to defensive coordinator. You guys won back-to-back championships in 2000 and 2001 at Americas. And then you took the head coaching job at Sumter County High School. You were there for 2 years before the two schools out there in Sumter County merged. And from there, you got the head coaching job at Monroe High School in 2004 and have been there ever since. And you got, so far, 7 winning seasons, a region title, the only one in program history. What do you say now, looking back 15 years from that hire? And how do you look back on those 15 years here at Monroe, as well as did you ever see yourself being here for these full 15 years like that?
Well, we were hoping when we came here, we was in America, like I said, for like 13 years. So when we got to Monroe, we felt that we can be able to have longevity there also. So we knew coming in that the future was bright, and if we kept doing things the right way, we have opportunity to still be where we're at now.
Definitely. Speaking of being where you're at now, I just want to do a quick throwback right quick, because I noticed this when I was doing the scheduling. You were on Sports Talk, and this is like the third ever episode, on September 14th of last year, and this is almost a full year from that. Awkward scheduling made that happen, and if you notice right here, I'm bald. I had a bald stint. I remember when the hurricane had hit around this time last year, I thought if I want to see how I looked bald, and I had some time off, so I shaved my head bald, right? And I didn't realize how long it was going to take to grow back. So for a while, I was answering a lot of questions around the office. But I just wanted to give a quick flashback and a shout out to that. Do you regret or remember anything from that Sports Talk?
Y'all remember that. I remember that afterwards I lost. So that's my main goal now. That maybe able to next year this time. Hopefully I'll be saying I won the last time I was here.
Hey, there you go. I mean that's very optimistic. We'll see what happens. I mean I've been doing this for a full year now, Sports Talk. So we'll see how this goes. I want to talk about what you guys have been able to do so far this year, and starting off with the fact that you have an oddity because you have 7 home games on the schedule, and you start the year with 4 straight home games. You split those 2 and 2, but is that helpful or hurtful to a program to start the game in your home territory where you're comfortable for 4 straight weeks?
I think it helped us out because we lost a lot of seniors last year. So we got a lot of young guys that's playing football for us. It's always good to have a familiar surrounding that they're able to play in. So I think it was a good idea, a good opportunity for us to play the first few games at home so they can get used before they go on the road.
Now, are you spoiling the fans by giving, they don't have to travel 4 straight weeks? Are you spoiling them at all? Or?
Yeah, I think the road trip is not that far right now. We just got to drive on a bus and they get across town. So, but it been real good. So we just hoping that when we go on the road this week that we can have some success on the road like we sort of had some nice success here at home.
All right, and we'll talk about these past 2 games. So you win the first 2 games. Now you're on a 2-game skid. And what do you look at for the Tornadoes? Where can you tighten up to try and get it back on the right track to get the winning games back?
Well, we sort of went into this season trying to upgrade our schedule. We knew some of the teams that we're playing now is going to be some good team that's going to go a long way in the state playoff. And we felt that in order for us to sort of be able to compete with teams in our region, we need to play a pretty tough schedule. We have the last couple of ball games we have has been teams that we have played that go a long way, we believe, in the playoffs. So we got another one this week with Commerce County Central. So we hope that we can build and get better from one week to the next week in order for us to get into the regional playoff.
What's been the focus at practice, and how do you keep their heads high after, I know the first 2 games it was such an emotional high, you don't want them to get too low after 2 losses?
And that's the key thing, Theo. We came in and point of emphasis we've been doing, offense was really flourishing the first 2 ball games because we were scoring inside the red zone. Last 2 ball games, we've been having a hard time scoring in the red zone, making some mistakes defense. So what we've been trying to do is not worry about so much about our opponents, but just trying to get better ourselves. And that's what we've been focusing on this week. And hopefully the results will show on Friday night.
Gotcha. And for the Monroe program, I know coming into this season for Dougherty County schools in general, a lot of people have been asking all of these questions about Westover and about Dougherty because they have the new head coaches. They're getting the new turf fields and their practice fields and whatnot. But while you guys have been the model of consistency, you got 2 new head coaches at the 2 rival schools in the city. What have your interactions been with Damian Gary at Dougherty and Olton Downs at Westover so far, and what do you make of what they're starting to do with their program?
Well, the school board did a great job. Those 2 hires. They brought guys in that was enthusiastic, great football coaches, knows the game, been at the college level, and have brought their intensity to their school. So we have a great working relationship with those guys, and I cheer for those guys other than the weeks that we play them. So we think that they're going to do a good job, and they have been. And we played Westover week before last, and we still got Dougherty on our schedule.
For you, I mean, how does it help or hurt the Monroe program to have those level of coaches come in that give the city somewhat of a spark just because people are interested to see what they can do? And you've seen several coaching changes at these schools, obviously, being there these years. But what do you think it does for the program at Monroe?
Well, we have to show that we're consistent with what we're doing. We got to continue to do what we've been doing over the last few years, and that's being able to mold our young men into good football players and good students. So we know they're doing that across town, and we got to continue to do that at our place also, to let the kids know that we're there and we're going to continue to get better each and every week. And
you've been able to do that, and this is something that on Sports Talk, people don't think I do my homework, but I did some research this week especially, and I found out some things. So I went since 2004, when you were hired at Monroe, I went through and saw how many coaches Dougherty has had since then, and they've gone through, now they're on their 5th coach. You had Carol Wright, Charles Flowers, Jesse Hick, Corey Joyner, and now Damian Gary. Through that time, they've had a region title in 3 winning seasons, and then you take a look over at Westover across the town, and the Patriots have had some success. 2003 through 2009, they had Jeff Caldwell, Octavia Jones most recently from 2010 to 2017, and now Olton Downs. They have 1 region title and 4 winning seasons. At Monroe, you guys also have a region title like the 2 of them, but 7 winning seasons. The playoff appearances weigh in your favor as well. And what do you think when you look at that versus what you've been able to do at Monroe and keeping yourself there and some of your coaching staff, how are you able to have that sustainability and have that for 15 years, them have that trust and faith in you? Well,
and that's the key thing, I guess. The wins are there. We have lost some games also, but I think just the consistency. And you brought up an interesting point here. We've been fortunate enough to keep a lot of my coaching staff in place. And, not having a lot of turnover on coaches also plays a big part of what we're doing. So we know we got an uphill battle to climb, but I think the kids believe in what we're doing and they showing on the field. And we got to win some more games. That's the key thing here, is to keep the emphasis on wins, but also we want to make sure that at the end of the year that we done got better. We're a better ball club.
And then for you guys in this region, I mean, what's the ceiling for you guys, you feel, this year in the region, trying to battle your way up in those rankings? I know in the past 4 years or 5 years, it's been a tough region and tough to try and climb back to get into playoffs like that.
I think this region this year is really wide open. I know Chris has always been the top of the region the last couple of years, but I think right now everybody pretty much is in there right now, and that's what I told my kids when I left a while ago, is that we haven't played a region game yet. We got to get better, and then once we get a chance to play a region game, we just hope we can match up with the region that we're playing in. So we feel good about our chances, but we just hoping we can get from week 5 until week 8 being able to play a good region schedule.
There it is. Well, you know what? Region's going to have to wait, because before we get to that, we got to do some sports talk trivia, Theo versus everyone. So last time I beat you, I went back and watched it, and oh, was it great to watch. I beat him 4-1. We'll see if I'm able to top that this time. Right after the break, John Barron's coming in as we play Theo versus everyone. Welcome back into Sports Talk with Theo Dorsey. We have head coach Charles Truitt of Monroe High School. We've got John Barron in here to do Theo versus everyone. And John, you got a story to tell, right?
Do I ever? Yeah. As you guys know, Charles Truitt has been at Monroe for 15 years. Coach, you've had a lot of success, and you've had a lot of memories there, and you've had a lot of new additions to your coaching staff. And, of course, every year you have new players coming in and out. So, as you can remember, I went out to your practice yesterday, came out there, had a little interview with you and a couple other people, and just to talk a little bit about your success at Monroe. Coach Charles Truitt has been the most successful coach in Monroe football history. For 15 years, Coach Truitt has been at the reins of the Monroe Tornadoes and has led his team down a successful path. But with success, Coach Truitt knows that he had to build a foundation of trust first with his players.
I think the kids had to find out about us, even though we came with a good resume as far as winning state championship where we was at. But the kids still had to develop some trust in us, and we had to develop some trust in the kids.
With that trust came improvement, till finally Coach Truitt and the Tornadoes clicked, and they became a unit. In that time, Coach Truitt has brought Monroe their first region title in school history, holds the record for the most career wins, made 8 playoff appearances, and has had 11 All-State players in his 15 years as head coach.
We try to measure that success about, wins or losses plays a big part of it also, but also did our program, did our team get better from week 1 to the final week of the season.
With 17 years of head coaching under his belt, Coach Truitt knows a thing or two about what good looks like. So when he got the opportunity to hire former Albany High head coach Felton Williams, he jumped on it.
Oh, it's wonderful. You have a head coach on your staff that has been in it. A lot of things that I would have to do on my own as far as getting ready for game, getting ready for practice. He had to do those same type of things. So he takes some of that off of me, and it been great.
Coach Williams spent 18 years at Albany High, and when he got the chance to coach under someone he's known for 18 years, he knew he could make a difference.
It's been a humbling experience to come here after the closure of Albany High School and have an opportunity to continue my coaching career. And working here at Monroe has been a great experience these last 2 years.
Both coaches are hoping to use their experience to help push this team towards the direction they know it can go. In Albany, John Barron, WALB News 10 Sports. Well, Coach, you've had a successful career at Monroe, but let's see if we can add one more win to that column. All right, as we are in the trivia portion of our sports talk, we've got Theo versus Coach. Of course, everybody remembers Theo's won the couple of them, but let's see if we can have Coach Truitt take away one here. So, Coach, you'll have 9 questions. 3 will be multiple choice, and the last 6 you will have to provide the answer for me, okay? Everybody ready? The person at the end with the most balls wins, all right? Perfect. Coach, you ring that bell first, you get the question first. Just letting you know right now, he cheats, okay?
All right,
so you need to be ready. You hit it before I even get the question. I'm just going to not read the question if that's what's going to happen. All right, question number 1. Who was the last team added to the NFL, Jacksonville Jaguars or Houston Texans? I'm going to give it to the guest.
Jacksonville Jaguar.
Well,
Jaguar.
He's been here.
Houston
No,
Texans.
that is Houston Texans. He would know because he's from Texas.
Most City to be exact.
Well, Texas.
Most City.
Texas. All right, question number 2. Which team was not a part of the original 8 teams in the NFL, Bears or Buccaneers?
Buccaneers.
That is correct.
All right.
So 1.
Why you pump me?
Just let you know. Point. All right. Last multiple choice question, all right? Question number 3. We ready? I'm already laughing. Which stadium is the largest in the United States? Lambeau Field or Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum?
Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum.
That is correct. 93,000.
93,000. 93, man.
Why did you repeat it right after me like you knew it? All right, that was the end of the multiple choice. All right, we have 2 more questions before we go to our break. So, Coach, still time to you break away from Theo, all right? Question number 4. Which California college team has the highest average of first-round drafts in the NFL?
USC.
That is correct.
All right.
Look at that. If you can't add, that's one more than you.
Why are y'all on the same team?
Because that's what we do.
That's right.
You get the opportunity to
Theo,
look
Theo
at the
versus
questions
everyone,
ahead
right?
of time. Theo versus everyone.
We see, at least the viewers know what's going on.
Everyone versus Theo. We got a couple of people screaming at the TV.
That ain't no problem.
Hey, no problem. Last question before we go to break. Ready? Question number 5. Which team has been to the most Pro Bowls?
Which team?
Just, come on, let's think of the most common team. That would be you, but
Dallas Cowboys.
no. What? No, it's college, so you get another try. It's college. Sorry.
University of Alabama.
That is
Oh,
correct.
I think you said Pro Bowls.
No, sorry.
That's my favorite team.
No, most bowl games.
It didn't matter if
He
you
said
got
Pro Bowls.
I'd said
Bowl.
it's been to the most
bowls.
bowls.
There wasn't no Pro Bowl.
All
There
right.
wasn't no pro in there. He's adding words, people. You can hear it already. But as you can see, Theo, there's no questions about it, is down 3-1. When we come back, hopefully Theo can get back on the
you
right
know
track.
what? Now,
We'll be back.
Cavaliers.
Welcome back to Sports Talk. We are in our trivia portion of the night. As you guys can see, Coach Truitt, of the head coach of the Monroe Tornadoes, is up 3-1 against Theo Dorsey. Yeah, cue some sad music, but it's okay. Theo's got 4 more chances to win. All right, question number 6. You ready? Which team, also known as the Cornhuskers?
Nebraska?
Yes. Sorry, the reason we are laughing, we accidentally cued a little bit of a hint on that one before the show began on the second half, so we're sorry about that. So Theo got a little gimme on that one, so it's 3-2, but I hope you guys got it at home. You guys ready? Question number 7. The Vanderbilt Commodores have a winning record against only one SEC team. Hint, they fly an eagle around the stadium before kickoff. Which team is it? I should just stop reading the question.
They're going to fly the eagle around the stadium is what you're saying?
Yes.
If they're flying the eagle around,
oh my goodness.
It wouldn't make sense, but Auburn?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, War Eagle. They fly
I didn't
around.
think Vanderbilt had a winning record against Auburn.
Yeah, it's against Auburn.
That's amazing.
Well, you got to think about way back in the days.
Salute to the Commodores, am I right?
Okay. So question number 6.
It's tied up, by the way. All right.
What does SEC stand for?
Southeastern Conference.
Yo, this guy.
I read his mind.
I can't breathe.
I read his mind.
I can't breathe. I don't even think they had it on the prompter yet. He's just like.
He said, boom. Question number 6. Southeastern Conference.
Yo.
Okay.
All right, well, that brings us to our last question.
This
Coach,
one's worth 2, though, so
Coach is up 4-3, but this last question, as always, is worth 2. All right, so Theo can win or Coach can take a demanding win. So thought I'd lay that out there for him. All right, guys, ready? Who is the Michigan Wolverines' oldest rival?
Ohio State.
That is correct. That's like a pump fake answer. He halfway hit it. He said.
Yo, where do we find this guy? Where do we find Coach
He's
Truitt,
been in Monroe for 15 years. All right, guys. As you can see, Coach Truitt took home another victory, adding to his column. But when we come right back, we'll get more into depth about what's behind the Tornadoes. Welcome back to Sports Talk. As always, I'm joined by Theo Dorsey, your host, and Monroe's head coach for the last 15 years, Charles Truitt. Now, Coach, as you always remember, you guys have had some great players come in and out of that place, but one right now is definitely your starting quarterback. He's had 13 total touchdowns in 4 weeks, and he's been our WAOB Player of the Week 2 weeks in a row. Let's talk a little bit about him. You know, what is he doing controlling that offense and holding the reins as you guys go and progress?
Well, David came out this summer, really worked hard. And we put the ball in his hand, as you can say, and allowed him to run our offense. So he's been making some good reads the last couple of ball games. So we feel good that if he's on, we have success. In 2 ball games, we done sort of on the downside, he hadn't been on. But he's the key to our offense, and we just hope he continue to drive that car and to some more victories.
And what do you kind of see Dillard doing as he goes in through the rest of this week? You know, I know you guys had a little bit of a bump these last 2 weeks, but you know, going into this game, you know, against Thomas County Central, what do you guys think about that?
Well, we're hoping that he can spread the ball around a little bit better like he did the first couple of weeks, giving an opportunity to get a lot of players involved and to make those good checks, to make us look good as a coaching staff, to be able to put us in a play that's successful.
What makes Thomas County Central a tough team? I know this year they're under a new head coach in Ashley Henderson, but it's been a while since Monroe's been able to get over that hump of beating TCC. You had him here last year. What do you see from that program that makes them a tough team to take down?
Well, they do. They have a new head football coach now. Instead of running the wing team now, they run their spread, and their quarterback make great decisions. They got some key players on the outside that catch the ball and run well. So we got to be able to maintain those guys. You know, they always play tough defense, and there's nothing changed this year also.
Earlier in the show, you talked about having this schedule. You want to put these tough opponents on there. Now you got a 5A opponent, and you're going on the road to play them out in the City of Roses. What do you think this does for the team? Again, this is your fifth game, third or fourth one that you can say is a real tough opponent. What does this do for you guys as you start to prep up for that region?
Well, we feel hopefully that if we can get out there and match up, like I stated, against a 5A team, that'll be able to propel us to when we are playing teams that's in our classification, that we don't have that experience playing against teams in higher classification. So give us a chance to have more successful games. You know.
Well, let's take a step back. I know Danish has been a great quarterback, but having Felton Williams, 18 years at Albany High, now he's on your coaching staff, to have that asset helping him out, how has that kind of been this year and last year, really?
Well, Felton got a chance to really work hand in hand with David. and those good reads and those steps, make sure he got progression going down and make sure he hit an open receiver. It's been key because he played that position, and with him, we hit the whole entire practice, it's been a blessing to be able to have him with us.
And I got a question before we close because we only got a minute or so left. Tough and talented printed on this jersey back here. Is that something you guys have always had? What does that mean to the Monroe program?
Well, we have a situation where we want to talk and preach toughness, and in order to play the game of football, that's what you have to be tough, and that's hoping we can continue to be tough, and we're going to have to be tough and get some good Thomas County Central football team.
Well, we're going to be watching that. Thomas County Central versus Monroe in Thomasville. That's the next time you can see them. Thanks for joining us, Coach Truitt. John, always great. Y'all have a good night.